On this episode of the Alexander Robinson Movie News Show, we're talking Suicide Squad drama, Channing Tatum as a merman, and more Fantastic Beasts to come in the future. So stay tuned after this.
Get ready for the Alexander Robinson Movie News Show, featuring the latest news about the movies you want to see. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Alexander Robinson. Oh, that's a great way to start this show. Showing off that I'm not really sick. I'm just still recovering from being sick. But yeah, if you saw my Suicide Squad review, I said at the beginning that I had a sore throat, and there's just a lot of gunk in my going around here. It's much better now. But that's not going to stop me from recording this show, even though it's coming up a little late. So that's kind of why I apologize. My condition has just kind of brought my enthusiasm to record anything down. But you know what? I'm here. Hopefully I won't die doing this. So let's just get started. Hope you guys enjoyed that little intro before the show started. Whoa, okay. Have my iPad here with all of the news stories. There's some interesting things going on. But first, let's go back to Suicide Squad. So there were some bits of news stories that happened that I didn't want to talk about because they weren't exactly criticisms for my review or anything to praise about the movie. So, if you've all heard, there is a petition going around out there to shut down Rotten Tomatoes just because Suicide Squad is getting bad reviews. Yes, that's a thing. And this petition, you can go find it on change.org, and it's created by, I hope I'm pronouncing your name, sir, if you're listening to this, which I doubt it, Abdullah Coldwater, which I gotta say, that is a really cool last name. How do you get a last name that's Coldwater? That's really awesome, I have to say. But anyway, this is somebody from Alexandria, Egypt, who created a petition that says don't listen to film criticism, and it says here, there's a disconnect between critics and audiences. You may enjoy a movie regardless what the critic says about it. We must get the people to know that the criticism, not the measure of the quality of movies. I'm reading this as it is. Let me try this again. We must get the people to know that the criticism, not the measure of the quality of movies. It's just the opinions of the critics. Sign the petition. And that's all it says. Which, you know what? Okay, two things, first of all. One, you don't want to listen to film criticism? Don't listen to film criticism. When I review movies, in the mindset of me, I'm voicing my own opinions of the movie, whether I love it or hate it, but I always like to say, look, at the end of the day, it's my own opinion. My opinion does not reflect your own opinion of the movie. If you have an opinion on a movie that is completely different from mine, then hey, good for you. I can't see your side of it, but I'm happy you feel the way you do. And with movies, whenever there's somebody that has a different opinion from mine, I don't criticize them. I just say hey, that's fine, whatever. I might poke fun of them at it for a little bit, but it's never in a hostile way or you're a fucking moron. Because when I saw Suicide Squad, I saw it with a couple of friends from work. One of them said that she loves Batman vs Superman but hates Civil War. Is that a little crazy to say, in my opinion? Yeah, but that's her own opinion. I'm not going to say you're an idiot. I'm just hey, what you like, that's cool. So I need a drink. So, really, like, this petition just really is pointless, and it also really shows this person does not understand how Rotten Tomatoes works. Because Rotten Tomatoes does not pay critics to review movies. What they do is they basically gather reviews. They gather reviews on their site to, like, tally up the percent of critics that like the movie or dislike the movie. So, if you go to Suicide Squad and you say that you see a 26% on there. I think that's what it has right now. 25. Damn. It's just dropping. But anyway, that 25% you see right there is only the 25% of critics that like the movie. They don't. That's not an actual score. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't review movies. They just gather reviews and just say what the general consensus is from movie critics. And for example, if you go to The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight's rating is 94%, meaning 94% of critics liked the movie, whereas 6% did not. So, that's just like, again, Rotten Tomatoes does not review movies. If you go by Rotten Tomatoes as your source of, that's how you should feel about a movie, then you kind of need help. You're not bad, you just don't know any better. Just, again, make your own decision about a movie or a TV show, because everyone's really going to have a different opinion, and you really can't change anyone's opinion. I mean, okay, I've actually been on some situations where I have changed someone's opinion. Like, I didn't mean to. Stephen Merced from Geeked Out Nation, back when I was on the original show, or their show, the Movie Backlot Podcast, we got into a conversation about Jaws. He was saying he really liked Jaws 3D. Why anyone would like Jaws 3D outside of the it's so bad it's good aspect, I don't know. But anyway, we were talking about it, and this was like around the time I was reviewing the Jaws sequels on the Real Mr. Robinson channel, because I reviewed them on my original channel back in 2012. Yeah. So anyway, he like sees my review, then he watches the movie again, and he's like, "Oh God, this thing really is dog shit." So it's like, well, there I go. Sorry, I changed your opinion, but whatever. But bottom line, don't listen to film critics. Just don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Just ignore what they have to say and form your own opinion. And really, like, also the other thing that everyone said is that Rotten Tomatoes is partially owned by Warner Brothers, so it's not Rotten Tomatoes' fault that Suicide Squad is a piece of shit. It's the filmmaker's fault that it's a piece of shit. So, I mean, again, if you like it, that's totally fine. And I will say this before we move on to other interesting Suicide Squad news. The only film series that I have a hard time, like, respecting anyone's opinion of, and I know this is really bad, is the Transformers movies by Michael Bay. It's like, with Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, it's like, oh, you like those movies? Well, okay, fine, that's your opinion. But when it comes to Transformers, it's like, oh, you like those movies? Then you're a fucking moron. I know it's really bad, and it contradicts everything that I just said. I'm trying to get better, which is kind of a reason why, with Transformers 5, I'm not going to see it. I just don't want to think about it. The more I ignore that movie, I think the better off I'll be in life. But let's stay in the realm of Suicide Squad. Let's talk about some more things that have popped up since the movie's release, and really questions the notion of Warner Brothers letting their directors have free reign. So, apparently, this story comes from Variety.com. Jared Leto had a bunch of Joker scenes that were cut from the movie. Here's what it says. And as I read this article, there might be some spoilers. But anyway, here's what the article says. Jared Leto put a lot of work into developing his Joker character in Suicide Squad, but fans will not be seeing much of it on the big screen. Halfway through the film, Joker's helicopter crashes and he doesn't resurface until the final scene. When asked by IGN what happened, Leto responded, "That's a good question. I have no idea," he said. "I think he probably went and had a drink somewhere. Stretched, once you get blown up in a helicopter, your muscles get a little tight. assuming you're not fucking dead. There were so many scenes that got cut from the movie, I couldn't even start, he said. If I die anytime soon, it's probably likely that it'll surface somewhere. That's the good news about the death of an actor, is all the stuff seems to come out. Or when your movie gets a really bad rep, because it's just like all this news seemed to come out as the movie's getting trashed by critics. But anyway, I've said this in my review for Suicide Squad. I've heard there are a lot of scenes of Jared Leto's Joker that were cut out. But honestly, Jared Leto's Joker from the beginning felt forced into this movie. Like, for backstory for Harley Quinn, he works there because the Joker is essential to Harley Quinn's character. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie, he feels so out of place, and it's just so forced in there. Probably because, like, hey, we can't really sell this movie. Let's just get in the Joker here, because everybody recognizes the Joker, and he's not in it for that much, especially when you consider that if you look at all the posters, he's like, his face is front and center, making you think, oh, he's going to be the villain. But if you saw the movie, you know that Enchantress is the villain, so that's a little weird. It's just bad marketing, and, like, it really does kind of show that, Warner Brothers is not capable of giving free rein for the directors and just cut things out, which segues into the next story. This comes from Collider.com. Suicide Squad. Warner Brothers ran an alternate cut for test screenings. A new report from The Hollywood Reporter says that Suicide Squad was under immense pressure from the beginning as it sprinted to meet its release date. Warner Brothers having learned nothing from the disaster that was Green Lantern. And so writer-director David Ayer only had 6 weeks to write the script before cameras started rolling. Another issue is that the studio took a gamble on Ayer, who had never directed a big, effects-driven tentpole movie before. However, for all of Suicide Squad's many issues, Ayer quits himself well at the colorful, bombastic tone a summer blockbuster usually requires, and this isn't a case of someone like Josh Trank being woefully unprepared for what a project requires of him. In May, Ayer's more somber version and a lighter, studio-favored version were tested with audiences in Northern California. If there are multiple options that aren't in sync, you go down multiple tracks. 2 tracks at least, said an insider. That was the case here for a period of time, always trying to get to a place where you have consensus. Those associated with the film insist Ayer agreed to and participated in the process. Once feedback on the 2 versions was analyzed, it became clear it was possible to get to a very common ground place. The studio-favored version, with more characters introduced early in the film and jazzed-up graphics, won. Getting to that place of consensus, however, required millions of dollars worth of additional photography. So I guess that explains the reshoots. Okay, one thing that bothers me. Suicide Squad really should not have been a big, giant extravaganza like Batman vs. Superman was. It should have been just like that smaller, low-level, confined movie in the DC Extended Universe. I mean, I've already said that it shouldn't even be the 3rd movie to begin with, but I'm gonna just get past that. This is, like, this really is, after reading this, is the final, like, nail in the coffin of, no, DC, Warner Brothers, you're not a studio that lets their directors have free reign. Marvel lets their directors have more free reign than DC does, apparently. This is just, I don't know. Suicide Squad is just a total disaster. If there is an extended cut released on Blu-ray, I'm not going to see it. I refuse to see it. So, you've heard it right here. I will not see it, because this movie, in my opinion, is worse than Batman vs. Superman, and if an extended cut for Batman vs. Superman did not help the movie, then why would an extended cut for Suicide Squad help the movie? So, this is just irritating. So, you know what? We're going to take a break. That's all the Suicide Squad stuff I have to say. We're going to take a break with a couple of other news stories that I could briefly go over. And, we'll be back after this message.
Love what I'm doing on this channel? Love watching movie reviews, let's plays, or podcasts? Want to help the channel grow even further? Then you can go over to patreon.com/TheRealMrRobinson and give out a monthly donation, and you'll help the channel grow. In return, you'll get special rewards such as access to retro reviews, let's plays, and podcasts before anyone else does. And if you don't want to donate or can't donate, then hey, that's perfectly awesome. You get awesome content regardless. But the really cool thing is you can donate maybe as little as a penny. You can donate a penny a month if you want. So, I mean, any little bit will do, and your support is greatly appreciated. So again, that's patreon.com/therealmrrobinson. Go over there and donate, help this channel grow. Again, patreon.com/therealmrrobinson.
Alright, back here, let's talk Disney remakes. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter and says, Channing Tatum to play mermaid in Splash remake for Disney. Yes, you are hearing that correctly, Alright, so it says, Disney is moving forward with a remake of the 1984 film Splash, with an interesting twist. Channing Tatum will star as the mermaid character that was played by Daryl Hannah, while Jillian Bell will play the character originally portrayed by Tom Hanks. Image Entertainment's Ron Howard and Brian Granzer will produce along with Tatum, Reed Carolyn, and Peter Kieran via their free association banner. Splash was a movie directed by Ron Howard starring Tom Hanks that was made in 1984, and basically involves Tom Hanks falling in love with a mermaid who's played by Daryl Hannah, and this mermaid can get up on dry land, grow legs. Pretty much it was a charming movie. I remember really liking it, and it was probably the only, I'm pretty sure that Splash is a Disney movie, but it was one of the very few PG movies. And maybe the only, let's see, I'm looking up Splash on Wikipedia. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Touchstone. So, technically that is a parent company of Disney, but basically, it was one of the few PG movies out there, or maybe G, PG, yeah. It was one of the few PG movies out there where you saw someone's bare ass. There's a scene when Daryl Hannah's mermaid character comes up on Liberty Island, where the Statue of Liberty is, and there's really a shot on her ass. She is fully naked. So basically, for this one, it says that they're pretty much going to gender swap the roles, pretty much like what they did with Ghostbusters, which this is I don't care too much. I don't love Splash enough to really care about them remaking it like I did with Ghostbusters, plus because I haven't seen Splash in a while. But I mean, it sounds kind of funny having Channing Tatum play a mermaid. At the same time, it feels like one of those fake movies, those an idea for a fake movie you saw in Funny People, the Adam Sandler Judd Apatow movie. It's like one of those fake posters you see on the wall, and I think there's even one where Adam Sandler's character plays a mermaid, and it has Elizabeth Banks. So I don't know. This is just weird. I'm not jumping on the whole gender thing, because the girls want their Charming Potato to play a mermaid, then you can have it like that. And by the way, Charming Potato, if you're a Spill fan, that was a nickname that the co-host 3000 gave to Channing Tatum. But yeah, not much else to say. I don't know how to feel about it. I'll have to see more and hear more about it before I actually give an opinion. But let's just briefly go over Marvel. And not when I mean briefly, this will be over in before you can blink. Basically, from the Hollywood Reporter, Mark Ruffalo has just wrapped Thor Ragnorok. He announced it with a photo on his Instagram saying, "Cry now, laugh later." And it pretty much just shows a picture of Mark Ruffalo grinning with his teeth out next to a giant model of the Hulk grinning or getting pissed off right back at him. And it's interesting that Mark Ruffalo would rap so soon, because I would think that for a character like the Hulk or Bruce Banner, he'd be in the movie more, but guess maybe not as much. Maybe he won't play a significant role like Tony Stark did in Captain America Civil War. So this will be interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited for Thor Ragnarok. Not as excited as something like Spider-Man Homecoming or Black Panther, because Thor the Dark World I thought was just kind of okay. And for anyone who's like would want to accuse me of being a Marvel fanboy not liking DC, I was not in love with Thor the Dark World. Just wanted to put that out there right now. So that's just a story that's not really much to it. And then lastly, there's an update on the sequels for Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. J.K. Rowling's screenwriting, the debut of J.K. Rowling as a screenwriter is going to be released this November. I'm really looking forward to it, but we have a couple dates for the 2 sequels, which I think for the first one, the first sequel, we already kind of knew it, which was November 16th, 2018. But then the third movie will be released on, let me see if I can find it. Sometime in 2020. Like, it's going to be November 2020. So, that's just not much else. It just says that David Yates is going to come back to direct them, which I haven't gotten to the David Yates movies yet, my Harry Potter series of reviews, but I think it's good that they'll, like, keep him around just for, like, the sake of consistency, like a consistent tone. Like, if you notice, like, from Order of the Phoenix to Deathly Hallows Part 2, whether you like them or not, they all have, like, the same consistent tone, which, like, at the point when the series is about to round up, is probably for the best. And it's good that this, like, series of movies won't change directors. And not much else to say there. This is normally the part where I move on to the Blu-ray releases, but there was only one thing that's really worth a damn coming out on Blu-ray next week, or no, this week, and I've already said what it is. It's Supergirl Season 1, which, like I said last week, I only saw the pilot episode and wasn't completely impressed with it, so I mean, if you're a fan of the Supergirl show, then definitely check it out. If not, then I might not be the right person to say it because I only saw one episode. But for me, I didn't really care for it too much. But anyway, that's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think of all these news stories. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Don't forget to check out my official website. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Rift.tv. And if you love what I'm doing on this channel, whether it's movie reviews, let's plays, or podcasts, you can go over to patreon.com/TheRealMrRobinson and give out a monthly donation. So, I mean, hopefully next week I will not sound so sick. Hey, God. So hopefully I won't sound so stuffy, and hopefully I'll be back to my 100% healthy self for next week's show. So until then, this is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you, there's only one.